Welcome back to Johnny Custom Glock's Frontside Press, where I am here with Julie and Jeff.
Going home.
All right, for another exciting episode of Frontside Press.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some bad stuff happening in the world today. We're going to talk about later. We're going to spank, get right to the toast, and then get into it. So, our king sponsor.
Damn it, I'm too slow.
Johnny Custom Glock's Frontside Press, because life is too short to have a Glock trigger that sucks. So, if you're shooting a G-Lock and you don't have a Johnny Custom Glocks in it, you're just punishing yourself. It's like walking around in shoes that kick you in the ass every time you walk. You don't want to fix it. So do yourself a favor and go get yourself a Johnny Custom Glocks trigger. If you're running a 43X 48.
No. It's like wearing shoes that when you go to kick somebody else in the ass, it doesn't work real well. You need better shoes, so when you kick somebody else in the ass, it works better.
Get one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have a
Johnny G.
Oh, there it is. The 43. Oh, this is too high. 4311. Right, that's what I'm running. I love it. It's the best Glock trigger ever. Get one of them and follow them on the socials. All right. Our Jester sponsor, Sean Hilton with SmokeShow3D.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, baby.
Yeehaw! Kick, y'all.
Don't forget when you go to SmokeShow3D.com that you use your Fsp 10 up 10% off one of these awesome armors, one of those awesome armors blocks. Right? He's got a bunch of other stuff, stands, keychains. I'm not going to talk about his, what do they call when the tire they put over the,
Yeah.
what do they call? Caps?
Yeah.
I don't know. We ain't going to talk about
Ghost guns? Ghost guns? What?
Ghost guns. The Self-Defense Emporium for giving up hours on the simulator every month.
Hours on the stimulator, man. That's rough.
There it is.
Hours on the stimulator.
All right, we'll be raffling off marches tonight. We have all the names, everything set up, so we'll be doing that.
Wait, so
All
we're
right.
ready to actually give out the hours?
Yep. For
Awesome.
March.
So tonight is the winner. 1 hour.
Tonight is the winner for
Tonight
March and
is
two
the winner.
more chances for April.
Right.
All right, so we're going to do the
Nice.
standard toast for the show now. This is about love and respect, okay? You know what rhymes with Thursday? Alcohol.
More MERS Day. I don't know.
What do you think about that one?
MERS Day.
Hmm.
All right. What weird fruit or coconut concoction flavored is that one?
Hay.
It tastes like hay?
It's got hay in it.
It does. It has. It's called the Irishman, and it has.
It's like bourbon for horses.
Yeah, it's
Right.
got cocoa, Bronzia, whatever that is,
It's one of
caramel,
my favorites.
spicy, vanilla, apricot, hay. Strange. That's
Somebody-
the Irishman.
Somebody didn't have enough ingredients. They're like, I don't know, put some hay in it. That should fill it up.
We need some filler. Like the dog food. They just got to throw some filler in there to hit their quota.
I like how they have like ingredients like spicy. Like last week or 2 weeks ago, we had burnt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's got caramel,
Burnt.
Like burnt is an ingredient, like spicy.
Right.
We have 10
It's
people.
an adjective. It's an adjective. It's a descriptor.
So Sean says, did I win? Maria says, am I first? Corey says, did I win? Chris Go is on.
Maria gets to be first because she fixed my shoulder today. Unbelievable.
Yeah, she's great. Corey Arndt is on. Lana's on. Hey, Lana. All right.
All right.
Good.
We got the huge crew.
How you doing over there?
Go over to Rumble. Follow us on Rumble. Follow Musings at MGL on YouTube. Get my numbers up to 10K. I haven't checked it recently, but probably about the same. I did qualify for some weird. Oh, I qualified for memberships today. So if I wanted to like create a YouTube MGL club and charge people monthly memberships to get exclusive content, I'm now allowed to do that.
That's good.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to because I barely produce any like non-membership content. I don't know how I could justify charging people for additional stuff.
Maybe you can have like a small group that you just go live to them.
Yeah, we're doing all right. That's these guys. That's the people. That's the people that are on here.
Yeah, here you go. They're right here.
Right.
I want to do the thing
They
where
get it
people
for free every
say hi.
Thursday. They get it for free every Thursday.
You ever see that where they do the money so they say their name?
Well, yeah. Those are super chats. Like you do a live stream. Yeah, you could have chats. It's a super chat thing, and so people could just comment, but they won't. Yeah, nobody's going to care or read it. But if you pay money for a super chat, then the person who's hosting the live show will read your comments on the air. Yeah, super chat. You got to have a pretty big channel for that, though. Like nobody's going to super chat with like five people watching your live stream. But some of these channels get 10, 20, 30,000 live streamers, like the Tim Pools of the world or whatever. So yeah, you charge for a super chat, and somebody pays you $10, $50, $100 to read their message on your live stream. Yeah, it's a nice. It's a nice way.
You know why we'll never do that? Because the whole thing will be Sean and Chris paying money and saying their names are like, I feel your crotch. I feel your crotch. Just want to say hi.
Well, that's what a lot of. It's funny because a lot of the super chats, a lot of the ones that I watch that are live streams, yeah, most of the super chats are like calling the host gay, like in a joking way, like, "Hey, you gay MFers, and here's $50 to go buy yourself a new sex toy or something." Like they're not like meaningful chats where people are like actually commenting about the topic that their discussion. They're usually some sort of a personal jab or inside joke thing or something. It's just a way to get their name, like you said, read on the air.
Okay, so Corey says now he's multitasking. Chris Go says Sean Hilton should be disqualified. Chris also says, you don't read my comments anyway. Yes, we do.
See that? Prove you wrong on that.
That's Julie's job. Maybe you slip her a little cash every now and then. She'll read your comment.
Chris just figured out how to save $20. You don't read my comments. Like, oh, I read your comments.
And now she's going to read them.
I have all the good snarky comments, how to make people happy. I guess Sean Hilton and I will have to be special guests.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Some night. Oh, boy. Yeah.
We'll have them fill in for me the next time I'm sick.
All right. So what's up?
Well.
So what's up? Well, we'll get any personal stuff out of the way. Anything exciting happened since the last week for you guys? Anything new going on? The Emporium, any classes coming up? Anything exciting like that?
We got a concealed weapons class Saturday.
Yeah.
We're trying to get open for May 1st. That's like the date I was told. I just don't like to say dates. Yep.
That's like right around the corner.
Yep.
Getting there.
You got your coffee grounds and everything already ordered in the supply room?
It's coming in Tuesday, I think. Tuesday, they're setting up all the coffee machines and the grinder. And stuff like that. So Marco was in today.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Sweet. You are right there.
Yeah, I just don't feel well. I'm in pain.
Nah, it's usual.
Yeah. Although my shoulder's good.
The long day. You've been putting a lot of long days trying to get that place open, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, but I'm just sitting
sore and tired all the time.
Like I just sit in there until I get a lunch. I got to babysit. Stuff like that. But I'm there. Like last night I was at Manatee Hospital for to do just like to assess what goes on there because we're gonna do a class. Yeah, we're gonna do some class. It'll probably end up being like 4 different classes and stuff like that from what they want. But I gotta tell you, I'm glad I don't work in an emergency room, or at least that one.
Sean says, "Wait, did Mike said he's setting up a Grinder account?"
Yeah, I'm setting up.
Yes.
I see the way you look at me.
Oh boy,
He's got the Grinder account. Now he's gonna do his OnlyFans. That's where the real money is.
Yeah, because everybody wants to see me naked. That'd be awesome.
They pay for things on OnlyFans, but it's not usually about reading their names.
Fucking sexy.
It's a whole different thing
Maria said GSSF is next weekend.
Yep.
Down in Homestead.
Oh, in Homestead?
Yeah.
Yeah, GSSF and Homestead, and he's gonna go down there. I don't have a gun. Mine's still in the shop.
I know somebody who could loan you a gun.
Yeah, it's true. I hate to be that guy though. You don't want to go shoot somebody else's gun. Because then, well, I mean, I guess then I could blame it on the gun. Like the sights will be off or whatever, so I can always blame
the sights are off.
Yeah.
Door on the gun that I got that has the sights off.
There was
always shooting low to the left.
Rick Nelson called me today to told me that I'd be proud of him because he bit his lip. He was just like, yeah, I think he was at Shoot Straight, and some guy came in with a brand new Staccato C2 or whatever. And the guy's talking about it, and Rick told him, like, oh, you're going to like that. Those are great. He goes, yeah, I just got to get the sights fixed. $3,000 on a gun not to know how to shoot it. That's awesome. Like, that's, that is pro level. I've had guns all my life. Idiot bullshit.
So we have a new watcher. We've got Melba.
Well, he can't control how the sights come from the factory.
Welcome, Melba. Welcome. Yeah, that's what I said. They make, $2,500 to $4,500 guns, and they don't hire a guy that knows how to shoot to put the sights on. I guess like
right.
And I've had guns all my life, guy. Mine. That is that's how it works. Well, it can't be.
That's what's happening, right? Yeah.
The sights
they just need to mass produce those things, man. They can design the sight properly, but they're mass producing them, so the guy working the line there isn't sighting them in properly. They're just cranking them out.
That's what it is.
Yeah, on a Staccato. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like when you get your car sometimes from the Ford dealership or whatever, and it's like you get a clunker every now and then. Sometimes you get sights that are off. It just happens.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Because it's not like they drive the cars at Ford, for like 5,000 miles. Like at Staccato, they actually shoot them. Like we used to get targets when I was at SIG, and we used to get targets from Europe coming in, guns coming in like that. They actually have the target folded up inside the thing because they would shoot the Hamleys, and you would get the precision ones. So the like competition Hamley, whatever, they would come with a medallion, right, with the hole in it.
Oh wow!
It's like 5 shots at 25 yards, and it's like 1 hole.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
I never seen one come in that the medallion was here and all the things were down here.
Nope.
Low and to the left, man. They hide all that
all
shit.
Low and to the left.
They hide all that shit.
All right, so let's get to the elephant in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about, obviously everybody probably already knows there was a shooting today at Florida State University up in Tallahassee. That's why I'm wearing my wife's FSU hat. That was her alma mater. She was a big Florida State fan. We have thousands of hats and shirts, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm wearing solidarity today. There was a shooting up there. I'm just going to read. I just want to grab an article that has some of the basic overall facts so we can kind of go over it and discuss it. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about guns on campuses, because obviously whenever something like this happens, people start emailing me and messaging me and wanting to know about guns on college campuses, what the law is, what the law isn't. So we'll just talk about what happened, and then we'll talk about what the actual law is as far as having firearms on campus, and what if anybody thinks we can do about that. So basically, a shooting happened Thursday morning near Florida State University's campus in Tallahassee, left 2 people dead and 6 others hurt. The shooting happened shortly before noon in the area of the student union, forcing students to run and barricade themselves. On a side note to that, my oldest daughter, she goes to USF in Tampa, so thankfully she wasn't there, but one of her best friends goes to FSU. She works at the Starbucks in the student union, so she didn't happen to be working today, so she wasn't there and didn't see anything, but she literally, we know somebody who works at the Starbucks in that student union where the shooting took place, so it's kind of a eerie situation. The alleged gunman was shot by police and taken into custody. He's been identified as 20-year-old Phoenix Ickner, a student at FSU and the son of a Leon County Sheriff's Office deputy. This is where the story gets a little weird if you don't know really about it. The suspected shooter was identified as 20-year-old Phoenix Ickner. He was a current student at Florida State University and also the son of a Leon County Sheriff's Office school resource deputy. He was challenged by law enforcement and shot after he refused to list the law enforcement refused to comply, I guess, with law enforcement commands. The suspect was taken to the hospital for treatment. Officials said Eichner was armed with a handgun and also had a shotgun with him, though it is not clear if he shot anyone with the shotgun. A handgun was recovered at the scene of the shooting, officials said. Eichner also declined to talk with law enforcement after he was taken into custody and invoked his rights. Chief Revella said the handgun found at the shooting scene was the personal handgun of the suspect shooter's mom. Chief Revel said the gun used to be the deputy's service weapon, but as guns are exchanged, replaced, or swapped out, it is common for law enforcement to have the option to purchase their weapon. In this case, officials said the gun was the shooter's mom's personal handgun. So, weird. Any thoughts, comments? Those are the facts. So, what do you know or anything about it? Or
no, I don't know enough about it to comment on it. So.
Yeah, that's basically all they know so far. Apparently, he's not talking, so they don't have a motive. Like I haven't heard anything or seen anything where there's a reason for it. Did he target specific students because he had a personal beef with them? Was this going to be a mass shooting that the cops just happened to get there fast enough to stop? Was it somebody with his girlfriend? His new boyfriend situation or something? Like, it'd be nice to just know a little bit more of the facts. It doesn't sound like it was probably going to be a mass shooting that just happened to get stopped. Maybe it usually seems a little bit, but I guess he did shoot a bunch of people, so it gets a little bit more outside of that. The wrinkle being that he got the cop's gun. It's basically because he's 20 years old, so under the new law, he can't purchase any guns. He's allowed to possess guns. If you're 18, 19, or 20, you can possess them and you can own them, but they have to be gifted to you by somebody. Like, you can't go buy your own firearms. So theoretically, he can own his own gun. This wasn't his, obviously. He essentially stole it, I guess, for lack of a better term, from his mom. So there you go. So the law was passed to prevent 18, 19, and 20-year-olds from being able to get handguns. And how's that working out?
Victor Chin said it was a revolver, but if that was her service weapon, they haven't used revolvers in the police department in a long time, have they?
Well, she's been
so.
there for 18 years.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah.
And Victor said 2 people who died were not students there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the teachers confronted him maybe or something. Again, it's kind of it's early. So like everything else, there's no reason to rush to judgments or whatever the issue is. Obviously, it's tragic or sad for the 2 people who passed away. Thankfully, more weren't killed. Hopefully, we'll figure out exactly what was going on here. But obviously, it's stressful for kids if you're at the student union and all of a sudden somebody starts shooting guns.
It's tough.
So here's the law when it comes to college campuses. So college campuses are basically no different than any other school. There's no different carve-outs or anything for them when it comes to firearms. So the general rule for schools are there's federal law and then there's state law. So federal law has the Gun-Free Zone Act, which is a federal law that says you can't be within 1,000 feet of a school with a gun. Not on campus. You can't be within 1,000 feet of the gun. So as far as federal law is concerned, if you're walking your dog around your neighborhood and you happen to walk in front of a school that's in your neighborhood, technically you're violating federal law. The only exception is if you're carrying it pursuant to a concealed carry permit. So if you have your concealed carry license, you're allowed under federal law to have a firearm in your vehicle, or if you're walking, you're not on campus, you're just within 1,000 feet, you're good to go. But you have to have a license. And that's still that way. Even with the new law that says you don't need to have a license anymore, you just have to qualify for one. They didn't change that part of the statute. So it doesn't say has a license or is otherwise eligible for. It still says have a license. So basically, you cannot bring a gun within 1,000 feet of a school under federal law unless you have a concealed carry permit. And then the state law says that you can't carry a gun on campus on your person. So you can't conceal carry it on your person when you go onto a school grounds. You have to leave it in your car. So if you're going to go to a football game, you can park your car in the parking lot. Remember, as long as you have a concealed carry permit, and securely encase it in your car, and then go watch your football game and then come back and get it out of your car. As long as you have a permit and you're eligible for a permit under state law. But the federal law still says you have to have the permit. So the same rules apply to a college. There's nothing different because it's a college. So basically, if I go to school to visit my daughter on campus and I have my concealed carry permit, I can come on campus with the firearm secured in my vehicle and leave it in my vehicle. But I cannot carry it on me anywhere I go. If I get out of that vehicle on that campus, I cannot have my firearm. It has to be secured in the vehicle. And again, that's only if you have a permit. So students, there's a couple things happen with students. So they're subject to the same rules. But remember, you can't get a concealed carry permit in Florida until you're 21, which means under no circumstances can any student who's 18, 19, or 20 have a firearm on campus because they can't have a concealed carry permit. So they, whether it's on their person, they can't leave it in their car. They can't have it anywhere because they're not eligible for a concealed carry permit, which means they're always violating the law under the Gun-Free Zone Act by having a firearm on campus. Now you get into a 21-year-old who gets his permit, her permit, then again, they're subject to the same rules where they have to keep it in their car. So if you're a 21-year-old senior, you're probably not living on campus because usually the 20-year-olds don't live on campus. Those are the freshmen and stuff that stay in the dorms. But if you go to school on campus, you live off campus, you go to school on campus, you can bring a gun, but you got to leave it in your car. You can't have it on your person. So in the student union, there would have been nobody who would have been legally allowed to conceal carry or have a firearm on their person in the student union other than security or law enforcement personnel for the school, because you can't have a gun on your person on a college campus no matter what. The best case is you can leave it in your car. So they're all basically shooting ducks because you can't do anything. That guy obviously doesn't give a shit about the Gun-Free Zone Act or what the state statutes say or whatever. Bad guys don't. So bad guys are going to carry the guns on their campus no matter what. But all the rest of them are basically sitting ducks because between the federal and the state statute, there's no way they could be walking around student union with a firearm to protect themselves. So that's the state of the law.
Sad.
Yep.
Now, they have tried in the past. Lots of people have introduced bills that are called campus carry bills, which would basically say that if you have a concealed carry permit, then you could carry on the college campus. They're trying to set a carve out for college campuses, not high school campuses or elementary school, but they've tried to change the law that says for college campuses, as long as you have a concealed carry permit, you can carry concealed. It's the same rules as any other place that you go to. So that bill has popped up every year somebody usually introduces a campus carry bill. And again, that's all it says. It doesn't require teachers to have guns or anything like that. It basically just says if you have a concealed carry permit, the same rules that apply everywhere else you go apply on the college campus. And that way people who live on campus, again, I guess if you're 21, there may be some eligible people that still live on campus, then you can have it in your dorm. Or if you're visiting campus, whether you're a parent or a teacher or a student, then you can carry it on you concealed, just like if you went anywhere else that was allowed to conceal carry. So obviously it usually doesn't go anywhere because it's like most of the other bills that get introduced, they always get shot down.
We have a question for you, Jeff. Gary Carvis says, hey, has anything changed as far as CC permit and medical marijuana? Still can't have both?
It's always a marijuana question. No, nothing's changed. Nope. It's never going to change until the federal government removes marijuana from the Schedule I narcotics. That is the only way to ever get that changed. It has to be removed from the federal registry as a Schedule I narcotic. Right now, it's in the same category as cocaine, methamphetamines, heroin. It's its own category. That's why you can have Oxycontin, because it's not a Schedule I drug, it's a Schedule II drug. So you can get all the prescriptions you want for Oxycontin and walk around with your gun, but you get one for marijuana, you can't do it because under federal law, it's still a Schedule I narcotic. So unless someday the Supreme Court finds that unconstitutional and strikes it down, or the federal government removes marijuana from the Schedule I, you're never going to be able to have a marijuana card and carry a gun. You can have both, because these are all the nuances come in. We're like, oh, well, I have both, right? Because they don't cross-reference each other. But under the statute, you are not allowed to carry a firearm or purchase one. You're a prohibited person. And so if you're a prohibited person, you can't have one. And that would be a problem for college campuses, because there's probably a lot of marijuana use going on college campuses. So some of those people might be prohibited from carrying firearms anyway. And they always talk about whether, there's always a debate about whether that's a good idea to allow concealed carry on campuses. I mean, I'm one who's always like, people should be able to carry everywhere. Again, I'm an absolutist, so every gun law is unconstitutional as far as I'm concerned. Part of the argument for having guns on campus is because, of course, college kids are not, they're not usually the most responsible kids on the planet. So you're having a big dorm party and everybody's getting drunk and smoking marijuana, and then you introduce guns in that situation. It's not a good, it's probably not a good combination. So that's obviously what the logical reason is for resisting those type of things. I think you could try and make carve outs for that stuff. For example, you could say if you live on campus, you don't qualify. Like the school can have its own rules about that. Like you can't have a hot plate in the dorm, so they could probably have their own rules about if you can have a firearm in the dorm or whatever. But I understand if you live off campus and you're just visiting for a couple of classes during the day, I don't know why you shouldn't be allowed to carry your firearm just like going anywhere else.
Well,
all right. So Sean says,
I'm doing the show. I doing the show myself tonight.
No, I don't know enough about it. So
Sean says, look,
well, you can have an opinion about whether you think people should have guns on campus or not, or what college students are adult enough to have firearms.
What did Sean say?
Sean said, I just want my gay friends to be able to protect their marijuana farms with machine guns.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
But you can protect your marijuana farm as long as you're not smoking it. You can protect your marijuana farm.
You just can't take it to
do
school.
With machine guns, as long as they're pre-1986 and you got a tax stamp for them, you can do it all day long.
Hey, Geneva's on. Hi, honey.
You can do all of that, and you know what? You don't even have to be gay. You can be straight and do the same thing.
What else is going on?
Nothing. Nothing.
Well, I don't know. I thought we were gonna have a big discussion about the merits of carrying firearms on college campus, but I guess it's just me talking about the law.
Yeah, I just want to hear the law.
Nobody else has an opinion on our opinion show.
Got any opinions out there?
Well, Scotty said, I have one of my
I was
staff.
talking about you guys. You're the co-host.
No. My opinions are not valid on this show.
So, see if I can read this. It's a long one.
Well, what about the fact, Mike, that he used a revolver? Don't you have an opinion about that?
Well, obviously it worked for him, so it didn't work good enough because the cop shot him. So that's what he gets for being a scumbag.
Well, if he only had a revolver, he was able to shoot 8 people, so apparently he was able to reload.
Well, I don't know if that's the only gun he had. So, plus he shot somebody out front, they think, with a shotgun.
So Sean says, okay, when I get arrested for my grow house, I'm hiring you, Jeff. Of course.
Well, you should. Yeah, that goes without saying.
Definitely.
That the least your worries would be whether you have a medical marijuana card at that particular point.
Well, you don't have to have a medical marijuana card to have a grow house, do you?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But he was wondering if you could carry and have a medical marijuana card. I don't think those charges will be anything he has to worry about at that point.
Sean wants to know if he should get a revolver or his EDC.
Grow houses are
definitely
still illegal. People should always get revolvers.
Yep, they never jam. They're simple and they're light.
Okay, on another note, Gary Carvis. I think the kid who stabbed the other student should have been dealt with by one of the fathers, victims or assailant's father, regardless of the outcome. The victim's father got kicked out of a meeting today.
Yeah, he showed up at the meeting today, yeah. This is that case in Texas. It's not the shooting at Tallahassee. There's that case in Texas where the 2 high school kids were at the track meet, and the one high school kid was in the other school's tent or whatever and was in the seat and he wouldn't leave. And the one guy, the dead kid, asked him to leave, and the guy said, "Make me," basically. And then he put his hands on him, and the dude pulled out a knife from his backpack, which obviously you're not allowed to have on a school campus anyway, and stabbed the kid in the heart and killed him. And so he's been charged, he's been arrested and charged with murder. They're going to claim self-defense. There's GoFundMe accounts on one side because the guy's black and they're saying self-defense and he's being railroaded because he's black. And then there's GoFundMe on the other side because they're saying nobody cares about our son because he's white. So it's like all these other stupid things where it should just be a simple criminal case of self-defense, not self-defense. Let's try this in front of a jury of our peers. And instead, it turns into a freaking national debate on race relations and GoFundMe's and everything else. It's so stupid.
JB has a question for you, Jeff. If I occasionally
That's gonna have a problem with self-defense in that case. Sorry.
Okay. Ready for this question? If I occasionally sell an extra gun to a friend or known person to me who has a CCW, is Biden's ATF going to come after me? Biden's ATF is gone.
Biden's ATF is gone. Number one, yeah. They're gone now. Well, they tried to. So this goes back to some of the ATF regulations that they passed under the Biden administration, such as zero tolerance for FFLs, and they tried to redefine the term "doing business as" or "in the business of" to basically say if you sell one gun, that means you're in the business of selling firearms. So theoretically, if they found out about it and some reason you ended up on the ATF radar, they could have
take away your FFL.
Right. Well, historically, the answer is no, because they basically, it had to be clear that you were running some sort of a business. Like if they set up a huge undercover sting at a gun show, and it was clear that the old guy down at the end selling his private collection is like buying a gun for $200 and then putting it on the table and selling it for $300, and they can prove that he did that over and over again, somebody could probably put together a case for somebody like that. But if it's a normal private citizen just selling it to a friend every once in a great while, they never would have done it, and they'd have a hard time proving it. But that's something they were trying to enforce under the Biden administration. But that's actually one of the things. They just issued a Second Amendment statement or something or whatever from Pam Bondi last week or whatever it was. And in that statement, it said they were reversing the zero tolerance policy rule and the definitional rule of doing business of. So that at least on paper, they're no longer enforcing. But,
So
you always got to be
Victor is
careful.
coming.
If you're ever going to sell a private firearm, make sure that the person is not a prohibited person. That's the only thing I do in Florida is make sure that they're not, or that you don't even have a duty to find out. You just can't know. Like if you know that the guy is a convicted felon and you sell him a gun anyway, that's what gets you in trouble. If you don't know, you have no duty to ask or do any research. It's smart to obviously only sell to people you know. And if you want to see their concealed carry permit, because that proves theoretically that they're not a convicted felon, then that just covers your ass. Do a bill of sale, get proof of it. That way, if that gun shows up in a murder scene and they come knock on your door and say, hey, this gun was originally sold to you from Self-Defense Emporium 3 years ago. Why did it show up at this murder scene? You can go, oh, no. I sold that gun to this guy 2 years ago. Here's a copy of his CCW or his address or at least a bill of sale or whatever, so then they can move on to the next guy. So you never want to be the last person in line on a gun sale. You want to be able to point them down the road to somebody else. So you should get all that stuff, but it's not required.
Plus, you sent yours to an FFL anyways. So it was shipped to a different FFL where the guy had to do a background check to get it anyway. So
That's good.
Yeah, if it ever goes to, obviously if it goes to an FFL, whether it's a consignment sale or a transfer or anything like that, they won't release it until they do a background check.
So Geneva is asking straw law,
straw purchase.
straw purchase.
Straw purchase. Is she asking what is it?
It just says straw law.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean, basically it's just buying a gun for somebody that you can't, that is a prohibited person. So if convicted felon John wants to buy a gun and he pays you or asks you to go into the gun shop and get it on his behalf and you lie on the form and say it's my gun and then you come out and give it to John, then that's called a straw purchase, which is illegal. Excuse me. Now that doesn't apply to things like gifts, because this is where people always get confused. Like if you want to buy your wife a gun, you can go to the store and buy your wife a gun and you can mark the box that says it's for me, because you're going to give, even though you're going to give it to her as a gift, that's not a straw purchase because she's not a prohibited person. And so you're not doing it to get around the purpose of the background check. You're doing it to give away as a gift. You're always allowed to do that. You just can't do it for somebody who's a prohibited person to try and get around the background check law.
Good explanation.
Gun shops sometimes freak out about that when people come in. They're like, "Oh no, it's not for me." Because one of the first questions on the form is this firearm for you or somebody else? And people will get confused and be like, "Well, no, it's not for me. It's for my wife, right?" But it is for you. You're buying it for yourself to give away to your wife as a gift at Christmas or anniversary or whatever. So you are still buying it for yourself, not on behalf of the other person.
We used to have a bunch of problems with that.
Right.
Like people don't want to do it. They want to pay and have, have a gift certificate or whatever, which is fine, and have the person come in, but it's like panic mode.
Right. No, that is one thing that will freak out a store is if they get any sort of hint that you're not buying it for yourself. They just automatically go straw purchase, and a lot of them won't do it, right? They'll tell you that, well, the person has to come in or, get a gift certificate or whatever. The other thing is, anytime the word felon comes out of your mouth, you walk in there and you convicted felon. Well, I don't think so. I was charged with a felony back in the day, but I think it was dropped. Oh, yeah, they're going to be like, well, don't come in here anymore. Get out of my store. So don't, if you're going to go into a store, obviously, you should make sure you're not a prohibited person so that you don't have this issue. But if you're not a prohibited person, don't say anything that will make them think that you are. Just fill out the form and submit it. FDLE will find out. And I get why stores do that because, again, you're dealing with your livelihood and your license. All it takes is one mistake or one slip up, and then all of a sudden you're out of business and you can't pay your mortgage and feed your family anymore. So I get why stores are sensitive about that.
Well, good.
So we're at 8:51. Do we want to do the drawing for last month?
Yeah, let's start doing stuff
Winding down.
Let's do the big wheel first, and then she can change it.
Okay.
So it's Sean against the world.
As always.
So we'll spank the sponsors one more time. So our King sponsor. She's like, I'm trying to do the wheel. Sorry.
That's why I didn't even grab my horn because I thought we were doing the wheel first.
We're going to spank the sponsors. Right.
Fucking throwing away everything.
So Johnny Custom Glocks, right? The world's best Glock trigger. So if you're rocking a G-Lock and you don't got a JCG in it, go get yourself a JCG trigger. All right. And make your life better. Sean Hilton at smokeshow3d.com.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, baby.
We're always hooking us up with great stuff to give away. The Self-Defense Emporium for giving away the free hour. So that's it. We're going to get on to see who wins or see if the world beats Sean. I don't think they're going to beat him tonight. Spin it. Oh, we're giving away an armor's block.
Is that what this is?
This is for the armor's block.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's coming out swinging.
Look at that.
Ron Hilton. There goes to Maria.
Where's our pen?
Here's one.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so we got Maria getting a gift of choice or whatever because she's already got like 10,000 of them.
Oh, I know.
All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the chances to win for
Yes.
April.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll spin that wheel 2 more times, and then we'll switch over to see who won for March. Look at that.
Wow, she's won a lot of cheese.
Yep.
All right, give me one more spin.
Doing lots
It's all
of sharing.
tied up. It's all tied up. This is for the victory. Uh-oh. Ooh, she gets a hat trick. No,
Nope.
I mean, she gets a hat trick, but John 2, World 1.
Wow, they're on there a lot.
All right, so we're going to have her change up the wheel, right?
Yep, and our March winner.
And this will be our March winners, right? So we do
Yes.
2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
This
so
is the
will be-
actual hour.
Yep, this is the actual,
Yep.
This is it.
hour. For,
Everybody can
On
win
the
this
screen.
on the wheel.
the room's almost finished. They need to clear coat some of it, and they're putting foam mats down, so we can
Shoot from prone and
Prone.
So you can like
down on
do
the
a
ground
tuck and
stuff.
roll and pop up and shoot the clown in the head. Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at it. The guy from T1 was there. Ray, he's the senior instructor or senior whatever they call it. And he came in, he sat us down, he went over the whole system because we had some knucklehead contractors decided it wasn't bent enough, like the thing wasn't folded enough. So they slammed the cameras together so hard that it bent the mounts like that.
Wow.
Yeah, after I gave them these instructions, don't touch anything. Don't
touch
fucking move anything. And I come in and I look, and it's like this. And I'm like, I'm going to kill somebody, you know? And then they just,
I was looking for a pen.
well, there you go. Yeah, it's hidden right here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's right. Go ahead and
So is it fixed?
yeah, he came in. He fixed everything. We went over a bunch of stuff because there's things I wanted to know how to do that. Like we went over stuff just to make sure I was doing it right. Like the night mode, like it's because I really want to play with that. Like you dim the whole screen, so the whole screen's friggin' black, even though the scenario is playing on it, and wherever you shine the flashlight, that circle shows up in the scenario, so that you can do stuff at night.
Picture in picture.
Picture in picture. So we now make videos of people, what they're doing and stuff like that. Most people are just gonna have a video of this,
Right.
just standing there doing nothing, right? Instead of moving around and stuff like that. But we will get some good videos out of that. We can now do the qualifications, law enforcement qualifications and stuff like that. I had who was it? Oh, I had the Kemps doing the FDLE pistol qual.
That's good.
Like that. Jimmy wanted to do it again because Austin beat him by 3.
Austin beats everybody.
Austin beats everybody. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Kid is good.
So there's more we can do with it now, and there's just going to be more and more and more. Like I'm working with both the GSSF and TI training with setting some stuff up. So that's coming probably next month, and that should be really cool. Plus, it's really cool to work with the both of them like that. But that's what's coming. All right,
Sweet.
Let's spin that wheel. Let's get some winners. Oh, there it is. Spin it.
James Matthews. Okay.
All right. Is he on tonight? All right. So there's one. Let's see what Maria does.
She's won a bunch of chances. Yeah.
Sean Hilton.
He's on everybody's team too.
All right. So there's your winners.
So next week is the last.
Well, how many
week.
hours does Sean have on that thing now? Doesn't he want like 7 hours on that damn thing?
I don't know. He got to take a flight to get up here from where he lives.
1,
Yeah, that's
2,
true.
3, 4. He's got 4 hours.
Yeah. He should stack them back to back and just be there all day. We'll order some pizza.
Yep. See you on Saturday.
Yep. You just have a Sean Hilton Saturday. I like it.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Good
So
59. Let's get out of here then. So next week, wait, when is the thing in the parking lot?
It is May 1st, Thursday night.
Okay.
May 1st.
So next
Yep.
week is normal. Next week we'll be here.
Mhm.
Normal thingamajigger, 8-ish as usual. 2 weeks from tonight, we will be in the parking lot at the ladies' gym over there on Fruitville.
It's called Her Fitness Boutique.
Her
Used
Fitness
to be
Boutique. So
Now it's Her
yeah, we'll be
Fitness
live in the parking lot. A bunch of other people will be there. There'll be booths. There'll be workouts to do. We'll have some giveaways, some shooting competitions, all kinds of stuff, and we'll all be there live from the parking lot. So come out and say hi and hang out with us 2 weeks from tonight. But for next week, just come back and join us here. In the meantime, thoughts and prayers to everybody at FSU. Go Noles. I hope everybody can be safe up there and kind of move on from this. And just another reminder that always be vigilant because you never know what's going to happen no matter where you're at.
That's right.
Happy Easter, guys.
Happy Easter, everybody.
That's right. Happy Easter. Tomorrow's Good Friday. Happy Good Friday. Happy Easter. Happy Passover for our non-Christian friends. And we'll see you all next week.
All right.
Peace.
Good night.
Play music.